The water above the command center was cold and dark. 300 meters down, beneath the Atlantic Ocean, Derek Hayes sat in a chair that faced a wall of screens. Each screen showed something different. One showed the Galactic Council chambers. Another showed energy readings from beneath the Pacific. A third showed ship readiness reports from every human facility on Earth. Derek was 52 years old. His hair was gray now. He had spent the last 30 years preparing for this moment, though he never believed it would actually come. The Galactic Council was arguing again. On the screen, he watched the alien representatives move and gesture in ways that seemed angry. Derek could not hear them, but he did not need to. The translation system below the screen printed the words for him to read. Chancellor Vex was speaking. Vex was a tall alien from the Valorian species. His skin was dark blue, and his forearms moved with sharp, quick motions. Vex had always been suspicious of humans. Now, he was asking the Council to vote on trade restrictions. He wanted to prevent humans from gaining access to new technology. He wanted to keep humanity small and weak. Derek read the words on the screen. "The humans are too violent," Vex said. "They are too unpredictable. We cannot allow them to expand. We cannot allow them to grow stronger. I propose we limit all human contact with advanced technology. I propose we restrict their territorial claims. I propose we make it clear to them that the galaxy does not need another aggressive species destroying everything they touch." Other council members nodded. Some spoke in agreement. A few looked uncertain, but none of them stood up to argue against Vex. No one said that humans deserved a chance. No one said that humans could be trusted. Derek closed his eyes for a moment. He had heard these words before. Different council members said them, but the message was always the same. Humans were not welcome. Humans were a problem that needed to be controlled. He opened his eyes and pressed a button on his desk. A moment later, Ambassador Robert Coleman appeared on one of the screens. Coleman was in his office at the United Nations building in New York, far above. But the secure connection linked them instantly. "They are voting today," Derek said. "I am seeing the motion on the council floor right now." Robert nodded. The ambassador was a tall man with dark skin and sharp eyes. He had been dealing with the Galactic Council for 5 years now, ever since Earth made first contact with the broader galaxy. It had been a difficult 5 years. "I know," Robert said. "I received the notice this morning. They do not even try to hide what they are doing anymore. They are not afraid of humanity." Derek leaned back in his chair. "Because they do not know what we have built. And now we tell them," Robert said. It was not a question. "Now we tell them," Derek confirmed. "I will activate the protocol in 1 hour. By the time the vote is finished, the world will have changed." Derek had been given authority over this decision by the United States government. The United Nations and a secret committee made up of representatives from every nation on Earth. For 100 years, this committee had worked in silence. They had planned for this moment. They had built the tools for this moment. Now it was time. Derek picked up the red phone on his desk. This phone connected directly to every military commander on Earth who knew about the world ships. There were only 47 of them in the entire world. 47 people who knew the truth. He made the first call. "This is Command," he said. "Activate Protocol Dawn. I repeat. Activate Protocol Dawn." The response came quickly. "Understood, Command. Beginning full activation sequence. All systems green." Derek made the second call. And the third. And many more. Each time, the answer was the same. All systems green. All units ready. All stations prepared. When he finished, Derek turned to the screen showing Robert. "It is done," Derek said. "In 55 minutes, the first ship will break the surface of the water. Robert sat in silence for a moment. Then he said, "In 55 minutes, everything changes." "Yes," Derek said. "Everything changes." On the screen showing the council chambers, the vote had begun. Derek watched as each council member cast their choice. The result was not close. 48 out of 51 council members voted in favor of the restrictions. Humanity was now officially limited. Humanity was now officially controlled. Chancellor Vex looked satisfied. He turned to the other council members and began talking about what they would do next. More restrictions. More control. More proof that humans could not be trusted. But Derek was not worried about the council's vote. In 54 minutes, the council would stop caring about votes. They would stop thinking about restrictions. They would stop believing they had any control over anything. Derek looked at the screens showing the Atlantic Ocean. The water was cold and dark. Deep below, something enormous was beginning to move. The ground was starting to shake. In the command center, Derek could feel it. The vibrations came up through the floor and into his bones. 20 minutes, Derek said. Robert nodded on the screen. "I have my people ready. We will broadcast the message to every network on Earth and every frequency the Galactic Council monitors. The entire galaxy will see what we are showing them." Derek stood up and walked to the window. There was nothing to see outside the window except rock and concrete and cables. But in his mind, he could see what was happening far above. The ocean was rising. The water was moving away from the spot where something massive was breaking through. 10 minutes, a technician said. Derek did not sit back down. He stood and watched the screens. The council had finished their meeting. Chancellor Vex was leaving the chamber, looking pleased with himself. He would not look pleased much longer. 5 minutes, the technician said. The screen showing the Pacific Ocean began to show something new. A shape, massive and dark, rising through the water. The ocean was falling away from it like water falling from a mountain. 1 minute, the technician said. Derek closed his eyes. When he opened them again, it was time. "Full surface emergence," Derek said. "Begin the broadcast." On the screen showing the Galactic Council chambers, the lights went out. Every communication system began to fail. And then a new message appeared on every screen in the galaxy. One image, one ship, so big the clouds looked small beneath it. The message was simple. Humanity is here. We are not alone in the stars. We are not afraid. And in the Atlantic Ocean, the world ship Genesis rose fully from the water. Sunlight touched its metal surface for the first time in 300 years. The sky above it began to fill with other ships. Small human fighters, human destroyers, all of them waiting to see what the galaxy would do next. Chancellor Vex stood in the dark council chamber, staring at the image that had consumed every screen. His forearms fell to his sides. For the first time, Vex felt something humans would have recognized as fear. The galaxy had just learned that it had been very, very wrong about humanity. The Genesis was not just a ship. It was a world. Lisa Morton could see that from her shuttle as she flew toward it. The vessel was so large that entire cities could fit inside it. Mountains of metal and technology rose from its surface. The hull was a mix of gray and silver, reflecting the sunlight in ways that made it seem alive. Lisa was a captain in the human Space Force, and she was one of the best pilots in the world. She had trained for this moment her entire career, but nothing had prepared her for the actual size of the Genesis. No description, no image, no video could have shown her what it was really like to approach something so enormous. "Shuttle 1, you are cleared to land in Base 7, a voice said through her communication system. "Welcome to the Genesis." Lisa adjusted her controls and guided the shuttle down. Through the window, she could see the landing bay opening before her. It was like flying into the mouth of a great metal animal. The bay was easily large enough to hold 500 smaller ships. When the shuttle touched down, Lisa felt the shock of contact ripple through the craft. She took a long breath. Then she opened the door and stepped out onto the metal floor of the Genesis. A tall woman was waiting for her. Her name was Admiral Patricia Sullivan. She was the commander of the entire human space fleet, and she had been the voice on Lisa's communication system when the Genesis first emerged. "Captain Morton," Patricia said, walking forward with her hand extended. "Thank you for coming. We have much to show you." Lisa shook the Admiral's hand. Patricia was in her 60s, but she moved like someone half her age. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent. She had the look of someone who had spent her entire life preparing for war, but hoped she would never have to fight. "The galaxy is going crazy," Lisa said. "My communication system was picking up signals from thousands of different species. Most of them sound scared." "That is the point," Patricia said. "Fear is a communication tool. Right now, every species in this galaxy is trying to understand what they have just seen. They are asking themselves questions. How many ships does humanity have? How long have we been building them? What do we want? Are we planning to conquer them?" Patricia led Lisa through the corridors of the Genesis. The ship was enormous on the inside as well as the outside. The corridors stretched forward forever. Lisa saw humans working at stations, checking systems, running tests. Everyone seemed calm, which surprised her. For 300 years, this ship had been hidden. For 300 years, the people who worked on it had lived in secret. Now, the secret was gone. Yet they all looked like they had expected this moment. "How many people are on this ship?" Lisa asked. 10,000, Patricia said. "They are all volunteers. They were all born on this ship or chose to come here. Every person working here knows exactly what this vessel is and what it is designed to do." They came to a central chamber. It was circular and massive. In the center of the chamber was a sphere of light. The sphere showed a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Thousands of points of light marked the locations of different species, different worlds, different star systems. "This is the real problem," Patricia said, pointing at the map. "Look at humanity. Where are we on this map?" Lisa leaned closer. She could see Earth, a tiny point of light at the edge of the galaxy. It was surrounded by hundreds of other points of light, each one representing an alien civilization. "We are surrounded," Lisa said. "Exactly," Patricia said. "For 5 years, since we made first contact, we have been trying to convince the Galactic Council that humans deserve respect. We have tried to tell them that we can be trusted, but they do not want to hear it. They see us as a problem. So we decided to show them what we really are." Patricia pressed a button on a console. The three-dimensional map changed. Suddenly, new points of light appeared on it. Each one was a world ship. There were 15 in total, hidden in different locations throughout the solar system. "These are our message to the galaxy," Patricia said. "These are our voices speaking louder than words." Lisa stared at the map. 15 world ships, each one the size of a small moon. Each one capable of supporting millions of people for thousands of years. Each one equipped with technology that most alien species had never even dreamed of. "How is this possible?" Lisa asked. "How could we build all of this without anyone knowing?" "Because we worked together," Patricia said. "For 300 years, every nation on Earth accepted one simple truth. We would never reveal our greatest strength until we had to. We built these ships in secret. We assembled them carefully. We waited. And when the moment came, we showed the galaxy that humanity is not something to control. We showed them that humanity is something to respect." Patricia pulled up a communication channel. Admiral Sullivan to Command Center. Begin the second emergence sequence. Lisa watched the map. As she watched, another world ship appeared. This one was beneath the Arctic ice on Earth. The ice shifted and cracked as the massive vessel pushed upward. "The Sanctuary," Patricia said. "Our second world ship. And it will not be the last to emerge today." As Patricia spoke, 3 more points on the map began to move. World ships beneath the surface of the ocean. World ships hidden in underground caverns. One by one, they broke the surface. One by one, they announced to the galaxy that humanity was not a small, weak, powerless species. Lisa felt tears forming in her eyes. She had spent her entire life training as a pilot, but she had never imagined anything like this. "Why am I here?" Lisa asked. "Why did you want me to see this?" Patricia smiled. It was a sad smile, but a genuine one. "Because we need people like you," Patricia said. "We need pilots. We need warriors. But more than that, we need people who can think. People who can choose mercy when they have the strength to choose destruction. The galaxy is scared right now. They are probably preparing their weapons. They are probably getting ready for a war they think they can win. But we are not going to give them a war. We are going to give them something better. We are going to give them proof that humans can be trusted." Lisa nodded slowly. She understood now. The world ships were not weapons in the traditional sense. They were tools. They were proof. They were a way for humanity to speak to the galaxy in a language the galaxy could finally understand. So what happens now? Lisa asked. Patricia turned away from the map and looked at Lisa directly. "Now we wait," Patricia said. "We wait, and we see what they do. And when they come for us, because some of them will, we show them that they made the biggest mistake of their existence when they underestimated humanity." Outside the Genesis, in the depths of space, the galaxy held its breath. Thousands of species received the same message. Humanity was here. Humanity was strong. Humanity was not going anywhere. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, the most powerful species in the known universe felt something they had never felt before. They felt afraid. General Marcus Webb was sitting at a desk in the Mars station when the alert came through. It was bad news. The kind of bad news that made his stomach hurt. A transmission had been intercepted. It was coming from Chancellor Vex. The message was being sent to every species in the known galaxy. It told a story about humans. A story about conquest. A story about evil. Vex had claimed that humans were planning to attack other species. He said humans wanted to take over entire solar systems. He said humans were already planning invasion routes. He provided maps. He provided data. He provided what looked like evidence. None of it was true, but that did not matter. Marcus called Derek at the command center in the Atlantic. Derek was already aware of the problem. So was Robert. So was Admiral Patricia. "He is spreading lies," Derek said over the communication system. "He knows he cannot defeat us in an honest war, so he is trying to turn the galaxy against us." "It is working," Marcus said. "I am tracking military movements. The Vex Dominion is moving ships. The Helix Collective is moving ships. Even the Serenians, who never move their ships anywhere, are taking positions. Vex is turning this into exactly what we were hoping to avoid. He's making us the enemy." Admiral Patricia was also on the communication channel. She was on the Genesis, in the main command center. Around her, humans were working frantically to track all the movement in space. "We need to respond," Patricia said. "We need to show the galaxy the truth about these lies." "The galaxy will not listen," a new voice said. This was Ambassador Robert. He was still on Earth. "Fear is stronger than truth. If Vex tells them we are dangerous, They will believe him because they are already scared. The truth will not change their minds. Derek was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that surprised everyone. There is another way, Derek said. The Helix species. There are some of them who work in deep space, far from the centers of power. They have access to information that the main Galactic Council does not have. If we can reach them, if we can show them the truth, they might help us. How? Marcus asked. The Vex Dominion controls all the major communication channels. How do we reach anyone? Derek did not answer right away. But when he did, his voice was calm and certain. We go to them in person, Derek said. We send a small human team to one of the deep space stations. We show them the evidence. We tell them our story. If anyone in this galaxy is going to understand us, it is going to be people who work away from the fear and the politics of the main council. It was risky, very risky, but it was also the only option that made sense. Within the hour, Lisa Morton was piloting a small human ship toward a deep space station called Research Complex 7. With her was a single passenger, a man named David Foster. David was a specialist in alien cultures. He had studied every known species in the galaxy. He understood how they thought. He understood what they valued. The journey took 3 hours. When they arrived at the station, no one was expecting them. The station was small. Only about 200 people worked there, all of them from various species. Most of them were scientists. They were studying gravitational anomalies and quantum physics. They did not care about galactic politics. Lisa and David docked at the station and entered through an airlock. They were immediately confronted by security officers. 2 of them were Helix species. One was from the Serenian civilization. You are humans, one of the Helix said. His name was Krell. From Earth, I have been reading about you. The transmissions from Chancellor Vex were very clear. You are a threat to the galaxy. Those transmissions are lies, David said. Chancellor Vex is using false data to turn the galaxy against us. He is doing this because we have revealed the existence of our world ships. He is afraid of us, so he is trying to destroy us before we can become a real threat. Krell looked skeptical, but he did not order his officers to take Lisa and David into custody. Instead, he said something unexpected. Show me, Krell said. Show me the truth. David opened a container. Inside were data storage devices. Devices that contained the real information about humanity, the real history, the real technology, the real intentions. For the next 6 hours, Krell and other scientists at the station reviewed the information. They looked at evidence of when the world ships were built. They looked at construction records. They looked at human intentions as recorded in official documents. When they finished, Krell looked at David and said something that surprised him. The Vex Dominion is lying, Krell said. I can see this clearly. This data is authentic. This history is real. And this evidence proves that humans are not planning conquest. You are planning survival. Krell turned to his officers. I am taking this evidence to the Galactic Council. I am going to tell them what I have found. The galaxy needs to know that Chancellor Vex has lied to them. Within 24 hours, Krell had delivered the evidence to 3 different species. Within 48 hours, the truth was spreading. The Galactic Council called for an emergency session. Chancellor Vex was going to have to explain himself. But Vex had one more card to play. He ordered an attack. He took his fleet and he attacked the Genesis. Derek received the alert from Marcus Webb. It was simple and clear. They are coming, Marcus said. Vex has launched everything he has. The attack will arrive in 4 hours. Derek did not hesitate. He contacted Admiral Patricia immediately. Prepare the Genesis for combat, Derek said. But listen to me carefully. When they attack, we defend ourselves. We do not attack them unless they force us to. We use the minimum force necessary to stop their assault. We show the galaxy what they need to see. We show them that humans are strong, but we are also merciful. Admiral Patricia took a long breath. Understood, Patricia said. We will defend ourselves with honor. 4 hours later, the Vex fleet emerged from hyperspace near the Genesis. They were fast. They were angry. They were ready for war. They had no idea what they were about to face. They had no idea what they were about to face. The Vex fleet came in fast. There were 300 ships. They were not small ships. Most of them were capital-class vessels, the kind of ships that took years to build and could destroy entire cities. The Vex had built them to be unstoppable. The Vex had built them to win wars. Admiral Patricia Sullivan sat in the command center of the Genesis. All around her, humans were working at their stations. Each one was calm. Each one was focused. Each one understood exactly what was about to happen. All point defense systems online, a technician reported. All shield generators at maximum. Weapons armed and ready. Patricia did not respond immediately. She was watching the approaching Vex fleet on her main screen. She was watching them come closer and closer. Hold fire, Patricia said. Let them attack first. Let them make the decision to start this war. The Vex fleet opened fire. They fired kinetic weapons. They fired energy weapons. They fired everything they had in one massive volley designed to overwhelm the Genesis in the first few seconds of combat. The Genesis erupted. In light as thousands of projectiles and energy beams hit the shields. For a moment, it seemed like the attack would be successful. The shields flared. The outer hull took damage, but the shields held. Incoming fire neutralized, a technician said. Minimal damage. All systems operational. Lisa Morton was piloting one of the human fighter craft. She was leading a squadron of 12 fighters. They were small, fast, and they were piloted by the best human pilots in existence. When the Vex fleet arrived, Lisa had been waiting. She saw the first wave of Vex weapons go past the Genesis shields. She saw several projectiles break through. She saw damage on the surface of the massive ship. All fighters, engage, Lisa said into her communication system. 12 human fighters moved forward. They were so small compared to the Vex capital ships. A Vex destroyer was 10 times larger than a human fighter. But size did not matter. What mattered was skill. What mattered was speed. What mattered was technology. Lisa dove under a Vex cruiser and fired her weapons at its engines. The energy beams cut through the Vex, shielding like a knife through paper. The engines erupted in flame. The cruiser began to lose altitude. But it did not explode. Lisa had aimed carefully. She had disabled the ship without destroying it. Behind her, another human pilot was doing the same thing to a different Vex destroyer. And another. And another. On the Genesis, Admiral Patricia was coordinating the defense. The massive ship was maneuvering in ways that no ship its size should be able to move. It was turning. It was twisting. It was dodging weapons fire like it weighed nothing. Activate secondary weapon systems, Patricia ordered. But target engines and weapons only. No civilian areas. No residential sections. We do this clean. The Genesis opened fire. Its weapons were like nothing the Vex had ever seen before. They were designed to disable, not to destroy. They were designed to hurt the Vex military capability while minimizing casualties. A Vex battleship took a direct hit to its main engine. The entire propulsion system went dark. The ship went dead in the water, unable to move, unable to escape. Another Vex vessel had its weapon system destroyed. It could not fire anymore. It could not contribute to the fight anymore. It was finished. The Vex fleet began to realize something terrible. They were losing, and it was not even close. Within 10 minutes, half the Vex fleet had been disabled. Within 15 minutes, 3/4 of them were out of action. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but Lisa and her fighters cut off their escape routes. Admiral Patricia watched it all on her screen. This was what she had trained for her entire life. This was the moment when humanity's hidden strength proved itself. "This is Genesis command to all Vex vessels," Patricia said, broadcasting on all channels. "You are surrounded. You are outgunned. You can surrender now, or we will finish destroying your fleet. But know this. If you surrender, we will save your lives. We will treat your wounded. We will return you to your people. Choose wisely." The Vex commander hesitated. He looked at his screen. He saw the reality of the situation. He saw that his fleet was beaten. He saw that resistance was hopeless. "This is Vex fleet commander," he said finally. "We surrender." The fighting stopped. The Vex fleet powered down their weapons. The human fighters stood ready, but they did not fire. They did not celebrate. They simply waited and watched. Lisa guided her fighter back to the Genesis. As she flew, she could see the damage on the massive ship. The hull was scarred. There were burn marks. There were impacts. But the ship was still flying. The ship was still whole. On Earth, Derek received the news. The Vex fleet had been defeated. But it was not a slaughter. It was not a massacre. It was a defense. A clean, professional defense. And most importantly, it was a message to every species in the galaxy. Humanity could fight. Humanity could win. But humanity would not kill unless it had to. Admiral Patricia received a message from Derek. It was simple. "Well done," it said. "Now we go to the council." Patricia nodded. She began broadcasting on the secure channel that connected to the Galactic Council. Every council member would hear this message. "This is Admiral Patricia Sullivan of the human fleet," Patricia said. "The Vex Dominion attacked us without provocation. They attacked because their leader, Chancellor Vex, lied to the galaxy. He told you we were planning conquest. He told you we were planning invasion. He told you we were evil. We have proven today that he was wrong. We have proven that when attacked, we defend ourselves with honor. We have defeated the Vex fleet. But we have not destroyed it. We have not slaughtered them. We have given them a choice to surrender, and they have accepted. This is the difference between humanity and those who fear us. We fight with strength, but we choose mercy. And now, I am asking the Galactic Council to listen to the evidence that Krell from the Helix species is presenting to you. Listen to the truth about humanity. Not the lies of a desperate alien dictator, but the real truth. Judge us by our actions, not by the fears of those who would control us. The message went out to every species in the galaxy. It went out to the Galactic Council. It went out to billions of worlds, and everyone who heard it understood that something fundamental had changed. Humanity was not just another small species trying to survive in a big galaxy. Humanity was a force that could not be ignored, a force that could not be controlled, a force that had chosen to act with mercy instead of vengeance. Krell watched the council members' faces change as they listened to Patricia's message. He watched them understand the truth. Chancellor Vex had lied to them. The Vex Dominion had attacked without cause. And humanity had won without becoming monsters. What is your assessment? Counselor Zix asked Krell. Zix was an older alien, someone who had seen many wars and many conflicts. My assessment is simple, Krell said. Humanity is not our enemy. Humanity is exactly what the galaxy needed. A species that is strong enough to survive, but wise enough to choose mercy. The galaxy is better now that humans are in it. Derek received reports all through the night. The Galactic Council had voted to remove Chancellor Vex from power. The evidence that Krell had provided was undeniable. The lies were exposed. But more than that, the galaxy had finally learned a basic truth about humans. You should never underestimate people who have nothing to lose. You should never threaten the survival of a species and expect them to be weak. And you should definitely never attack them and expect them to show you mercy, except humanity had shown mercy. And that mercy was the most powerful weapon of all. The Galactic Council meeting was held in a neutral space, far from any species' home world. The building was enormous. It had been constructed hundreds of years ago by an ancient civilization that no longer existed. But it was still used by the Council for important meetings. Derek Hayes stood in the center of the Council chambers. He was not alone. With him were Admiral Patricia Sullivan, Ambassador Robert Coleman, and Lisa Morton. They had all come to speak to the Council about humanity. The Council members sat in a great circle, 37 different species represented. Some of them were humanoid. Others were strange and alien. Some seemed to be made of energy. Some seemed to be made of stone. But all of them were watching Derek with attention and respect. This was different from how they had watched humans before. I stand before you today to explain why humanity built the world ships in secret, Derek began. His voice was calm and clear. For thousands of years, humanity learned hard lessons about survival. We learned that the strong devoured the weak. We learned that being honest sometimes means being destroyed. We learned that hiding our strength was sometimes the only way to survive long enough to grow strong enough to defend ourselves. Derek paused. He looked directly at Chancellor Vex, who was sitting in a holding area awaiting trial. When we made first contact with the galactic community, we hoped things would be different, Derek continued. We hoped that the galaxy would judge us by our actions, not by our fears. We hoped that the galaxy would recognize that humans wanted peace and partnership. But we learned that hope is not always enough. Derek pointed to the evidence displayed on screens around the chamber. Chancellor Vex feared us because he understood something that most of you did not understand. He knew that humanity is dangerous not because we want to conquer, but because we can survive anything. We can adapt to anything. We can endure anything. And when we are forced to fight, we fight with everything we have. But look at what happened when the Vex fleet attacked us, Derek said. We defeated them easily. We could have destroyed every single ship. We could have slaughtered millions of Vex soldiers. But we did not. We showed them mercy instead. And that mercy, I believe, is the most human thing about us. Derek stepped back. Admiral Patricia took his place. Humanity does not want to rule the galaxy, Patricia said. We do not want to conquer other worlds. We do not want to force other species into servitude. We want what every species wants. We want to survive. We want to build. We want to create. We want to live our lives in peace with our families and our friends. Patricia held up a data device. These are our plans for the world ships going forward, Patricia said. Most of them will be converted to peaceful uses. The Genesis will become a mobile embassy, traveling throughout the galaxy to build relationships with other species. The Sanctuary will become a research vessel, combining human technology with the knowledge of other civilizations. The Ascension will be a humanitarian ship, carrying food and medicine and technology to worlds that need help. The council members looked at each other. This was not what they had expected. They had expected humans to use their newfound power to demand more and more. But humans were volunteering to use their strength for peaceful purposes. Counselor Zix stood up. He was an ancient alien from a species that had existed in this galaxy for over 1,000,000 years. His opinion mattered. The evidence is clear, Zix said. The evidence shows that Chancellor Vex lied to us. The evidence shows that humans are exactly what they claim to be. A young species, but a strong one. A species that values survival, but also values mercy and justice. Zix turned to face all the other council members. I move that we formally recognize humanity as a sovereign civilization with full rights within the galactic community. Zix said, I move that we open trade with humanity without restrictions. I move that we invite humanity to participate fully in galactic affairs. The vote came quickly. It was nearly unanimous. Only a few council members abstained. All the others voted in favor of recognizing humanity. Derek felt something inside his chest release. For the first time in years, he felt like he could breathe properly. 3 months later, things had changed more than anyone could have imagined. Human scientists were working with scientists from other species. Human engineers were cooperating with Helix engineers to build new technologies. Human diplomats were making agreements with a dozen different civilizations. Lisa Morton was now captaining the Genesis. She had been promoted to admiral, the same rank as Patricia Sullivan. But Lisa's job was different. Lisa was exploring the galaxy. She was meeting new species. She was making new friends. One of those friends was Krell, the Helix alien who had helped prove that Vex was lying. Krell had left the Deep Space Research Station and had joined the human fleet. He wanted to be part of something bigger. He wanted to be part of humanity's journey into the galaxy. Derek and Robert stood together on Earth's surface. They were watching the night sky. In the sky, they could see the lights of the human world ships. The Genesis was in orbit, its running lights twinkling like stars. We did it, Robert said. We actually did it. We showed the galaxy who we really are, and they accepted us. Derek nodded. The hard part is just beginning, he said. Now we have to live up to what we promised. We have to be better than we were. We have to prove that humanity deserves the respect we have earned. We will, Robert said, because that is what humans do. We survive. We adapt. We grow. And when we have the chance, we choose to be better than we were yesterday. Admiral Patricia was on the Sanctuary, the research vessel. Around her were scientists from 15 different species. They were all working together on a project to cure a disease that had plagued the galaxy for hundreds of years. Humans and aliens, working as partners. Not as master and servant. Not as strong and weak. But as equals. Chancellor Vex was in a detention facility on a neutral world. He was awaiting trial for his crimes. When the trial was finished, he would likely spend the rest of his life in imprisonment. But that was not Derek's concern. That was the concern of the Galactic Council. On Mars, a new human city was being built. It was being built with technology shared by alien species. It was being built as a symbol of cooperation. It was being built as proof that humans and aliens could work together. As the sun began to set on Earth, Derek and Robert watched the world ships perform a synchronized maneuver in the sky. All 14 of them moving together in perfect formation. It was not a military display. It was not a show of force. It was a celebration. A celebration of humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. Derek thought back to that moment in the command center when he had made the decision to activate the protocol. He thought about how scared he had been. He thought about how uncertain everything had seemed. But now, looking at the ships in the sky, Derek knew that he had made the right choice. Humanity was no longer alone in the darkness of space. Humanity was no longer hidden and afraid. Humanity was standing among the stars as an equal, as a partner, as a friend. And the galaxy had learned an important lesson. Never underestimate humanity. Never assume that humans are weaker than they appear. Never believe that humans will accept oppression. But most importantly, the galaxy had learned that humanity's greatest strength was not its technology or its weapons. Humanity's greatest strength was the fact that when given the power to destroy, humans could choose mercy instead. That was what made humanity special. That was what made humanity worthy of respect. And that was why, in the end, the galaxy accepted humans with open arms. As the night sky filled with the running lights of human ships, Derek smiled. The future was uncertain. There would be challenges ahead. There would be conflicts and difficulties and struggles. But humanity would face all of those things. Because that is what humans do. Humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans endure. And most importantly, humans never stop believing that tomorrow can be better than today. The story of humanity in the galaxy was just beginning. And it was only going to get better from here.